I want to show you the exact moment that Vivek Ramaswamy likely nuked his entire future in Republican politics with one single bizarre post. Now, this tweet has 79.5 million views, as you can see at the bottom of the screen, and that's because both sides are just stunned at the absurdity of what Vivek tries to say in this post. He talks about American culture and mediocrity, and he blames a lot of our problems on Boy Meets World and Saved by the Bell and other 90s TV shows, which we'll get to. But before we jump in, I just want to say, here's the kicker about this all. Vivek is bemoaning this cultural shift in America while simultaneously championing the very policies that would make this problem worse. For example, you can't complain about a lack of American engineers and then turn around and advocate for gutting the very systems that support the education of engineers in this country. Because Vivek has called for dismantling the Department of Education, he's called for cutting Title I funding for low-income schools, he even wants to eliminate programs that provide mental health support and after-school activities. So how exactly are we supposed to cultivate this new generation of innovators and engineers when we're pulling the rug out from under millions of kids? So make sure you drop a like, make sure you subscribe, and I really want to know what your guys' opinion on this is, because I wasn't around to watch Boy Meets World or Saved by the Bell. I mean, I know a lot about the shows, but a lot of you guys were there during the 90s. So I want you guys to give me your own opinion of Vivek's tweet after I read this, because I do value what you have to say. So Vivek said, "The reason top tech companies often hire foreign-born and first-generation engineers over Native Americans isn't because of an innate American IQ deficit. A key part of it comes down to the C word, culture. Tough questions demand tough answers, and if we're really serious about fixing the problem, we have to confront the truth." And here's where it gets bizarre. His thesis is, "Our American culture has venerated mediocrity over excellence for way too long, at least since the 90s and likely longer. That doesn't start in college, it starts young. A culture that celebrates the prom queen over the math Olympiad champ, or the jock over the valedictorian will not produce the best engineers. A culture that venerates Corey from Boy Meets World, or Zack and Slater over Screech and Saved by the Bell, or Stefan over Steve Urkel and Family Matters will not produce the best engineers." He then said, "Fact, I know multiple sets of immigrant parents in the 90s who actively limited how much their kids could watch those TV shows precisely because they promoted mediocrity, and their kids went on to become wildly successful STEM graduates." Listen to this part, because this part is very odd. He then says, "More movies like Whiplash, fewer reruns of Friends. More math tutoring, fewer sleepovers. More weekend science competitions, fewer Saturday morning cartoons. More books, less TV. More creating, less chillin'. More extracurriculars, less hanging out at the mall." Is this the no fun zone? Is Vivek Ramaswamy just the no fun guy? It would suck to be his kids. No Saturday morning cartoons, you have to do your morning math. He then said, "Most normal American parents look skeptically at those kinds of parents. More normal American kids view such, quote, those kinds of kids with scorn. If you grow up aspiring to normalcy, normalcy is what you will achieve." He then says, "Now close your eyes and visualize which families you knew in the 90s or even now who raise their kids according to one model versus the other. Normalcy doesn't cut it in a hyper-competitive global market for technical talent, and if we pretend like it does, we'll have our asses handed to us by China." He says, "This could be our Sputnik moment. We've awakened from slumber before and we can do it again. Trump's election hopefully marks the beginning of a new golden era, blah, blah, blah." There's just so much to break down with this post. I want you guys to let me know what you think in the comment section below. But I guess I want to start off by just debunking the entire thesis of this. The entire thesis statement is wrong, and then everything he subsequently builds on top of that is extra wrong. So his thesis is that American culture idolizes mediocrity, when I think it's the exact opposite. Our culture is obsessed with glorifying the top 1%. Every single movie has a hero with a body that's not really obtainable. If you're scrolling through social media, you're seeing the best parts of people's lives, and they're glorifying their lives. So I don't think people are depressed because they're mediocre. They're depressed because we've told them that being mediocre makes them worth this, when the reality is, being normal or normalcy isn't something you should vilify. The vast majority of people are normal by definition. I mean, being normal or mediocre means you're average. So if everybody were above average, then there would be a new definition of average, right? But again, it's incredibly odd to vilify normalcy, especially when his definition of normalcy is just like having fun and watching TV shows. I mean, let's jump to the part that I thought was really absurd. He said, "More math tutoring, fewer sleepovers, more weekend science competitions, fewer Saturday morning cartoons, more creating, less chillin'. We can't have fun. We can't have fun anywhere. I really disagree with the notion that fun is somehow the enemy of progress, which seems to be what Vivek is implying here when he says more math tutoring, fewer sleepovers. You can't have any fun. I think that part of what makes America so unique is our culture. Sure, we have our flaws. Our healthcare system is a mess. Our institutions are far from perfect, but we've also built something pretty cool. I mean, just think about it. You probably have a movie theater near you. Hollywood produces solid movies. If you go to any other country in the world, the odds are they'll be playing movies from Hollywood. We have solid artists that play on the radio of other countries too. America has given us the freedom to enjoy life, whether it's a backyard barbecue or like a road trip. America allows for that. And I get that other countries do as well. I get that America is imperfect, but I'm just trying to push back on the idea that America can only be great if we have fewer sleepovers. I think part of what makes America solid already is that we have the freedom to do this stuff. So I guess Vivek wants to replace joy and balance in life with this endless grind, turning every moment into some sort of uphill battle where you're grinding it out. And this person puts it pretty well. They say, so basically, tech bros prefer foreign-born workers because they're willing to work 90 hours per week rather than having a work-life balance. Got it. And I think that's a pretty solid breakdown. But to go back to what Vivek is saying, one thing that really bothered me personally, because I love movies, is when he said, more movies like Whiplash, fewer reruns of Friends. Anybody in the audience, have you guys seen the movie Whiplash? If you have, you know that Vivek Ramaswamy completely missed the point of the movie Whiplash. The lesson isn't to work harder at all costs. It's actually a cautionary tale. Because if you haven't seen Whiplash, go check it out. It's a great movie. By the end of the movie, spoiler alert, the protagonist has essentially lost everything because of how hard he worked. He worked so hard, he sacrificed relationships. His mental health was shot. He had no life balance. That movie's not a blueprint. The movie is not a blueprint for greatness. It's a tragedy. The movie is supposed to be a tragedy. And again, not everybody in America wants to grind their life away for some vague idea of a legacy. Some people prioritize family more than they want to prioritize legacy. Again, being mediocre or being normal isn't bad. It just means that you're average. I think this reply was pretty solid. It reads, "Oh Vivek, where do we start? You're out here saying America's culture celebrates mediocrity over mathletes, prom queens over problem solvers. And hey, maybe you've got a point about priorities, but then you turn around and you want to gut the very thing that could change it, education funding. You can't bemoan America's STEM talent deficit while calling for the Department of Education to be tossed like yesterday's trash. That's like blaming the forest for forest fires. Title I funding, gone. Mental health supports for students, vanished. After school programs that could have nurtured your future engineers, poof. And let's talk about this normalcy you're so ready to vilify. Not every kid has tiger parents who both work 2 jobs to put food on the table or a weekend science fair to fall back on. You take away federal education dollars and you're not just losing sleepovers and wall runs, you're shutting the door on millions of kids from struggling families who'll never see the starting line, let alone cross it. He then says, so yeah, America might need a cultural shift towards valuing excellence, but guess what? That takes investments in schools, not defunding them. You can't lecture us about the Sputnik moment while you're busy dismantling the rocket launch pad. That is a great way to put it. And yes, we do need more education funding. There are certain parts of America where our education systems are lacking. We all know this, but Vivek Ramaswamy wants to contribute to that idea, and I'll just end it there. This tweet has gotten him into a lot of stuff. You know what? Let's not end there. Let's scroll down and see what people are saying. Jack Posobiec said, we already tried this during COVID. Control of America was effectively handed over to Screeches and Steve Urkels. It was not good. A lot of these people said, turns out the waste that America wanted to cut from America was Americans. People are mad at Vivek Ramaswamy, and people on both sides. I mean, people on our side are mad at him because he's a weirdo who doesn't think we should be watching good shows and movies, but people on the right are mad at him probably because he's not white, he's Indian. I don't know. I'll leave it at that. Drop a like, subscribe. I love you guys. See you in the next video, and peace out.